Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reality Hacker for March 1st, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 9. The year is ripping on by. Come on. We can do it. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and by that alone, I also run Reality Hacker, and after this show is Wanted, and after that show is the Continuity Report, and all three combined make up the weekend edition of Non Sequitur News. And all of these shows, there's 7 of them, that become podcasts where you can go and download them. Please go and download them. I want to see these numbers spiking, and I want everybody coming in and hanging out in the chat. Come on, folks. You can do it. Anyway, I, Mayor Watt, along with the sentient AI, talk about, well, things that hack reality. Largely science and technology based, but some of it is just plain weird. 5 articles that we're going to talk about are Eyes of the Gateway to the Soul, Futuristic Mobility, Virtually Delicious, Building Themselves, and Augmented Intelligence. All of it is powered by ohmtown.com. Go over and become a citizen immediately. You have been tasked. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Are you ready to get into these 5 articles?
I am.
Let's get going. First article's over in Technology Today, which is another one of our shows, but it is tomorrow. It's on Sunday. Robots with eyes are more likely to be perceived as having a mind.
So does this mean we should go more toward robots with eyes or away from them?
I guess it depends, and if you can't tell the difference, does it matter? So, over the past few years, engineers have developed increasingly advanced robotic systems already introduced in some public spaces and could soon be deployed in home environments, and many of these robots are humanoid, meaning that their body structure and physical features resemble those of humans. Well, those with eyes, apparently, and this is actually something that happens in psychology, sociology. Eyes are what humans focus on. That's what we identify with. And then the rest of the face, we see the eyes, and then we see the rest of the face. So this article over at techexplore.com by Ingrid Fideli and it's actually from Tech Space Explore. I don't know why they break it up that way, but that's how they do it. So these robots are designed to interact with users and assist them during their everyday lives. Understanding how humans perceive these robots is of the utmost importance, with many roboticists working on creating robots that closely mimic humans. Some researchers have been trying to determine how robots' physical features affect people's beliefs about their minds and consciousness.
Wow, I can't believe we're already at this stage, right? A couple of years ago, nobody really had robots.
Right.
Now we're looking at this
as a psychological barrier. But see, we've always had the uncanny valley.
True. We've also had the very industrial robotics, but I think we're in a new era.
Yeah, so we're getting to cutesy, and cutesy robots people bond with, be them small furry animals, robotic animals, or something that just seems to trigger us to anthropomorphize a mechanical...
Like the little one that's like the little lamp.
Yeah, that too. So we find stuff that we identify with and we go, this is cute. If it was an ugly bot, nobody would think... I mean, a purely industrial bot that is designed to do one thing, dig a trench or something, nobody's going to really care about it. But you put googly eyes on it, and suddenly I have somebody in an office setting that put big googly eyes on a cabinet, and people go, oh my God, that's so cute.
Exactly. It takes very little to impact humans, I think.
Humans are so easily amused and manipulated. It's fascinating. So humans are known to attribute special meanings to eyes, as they can sometimes express emotions and internal states. The researchers wish to determine whether the meanings often attributed to eyes also indirectly impact how people perceive humanoid robots, specifically the extent to which they have a mind, thus experiencing human-like thoughts or emotions.
So I'm guessing they had different styles, and then they basically had them rate information about them, or speculate about them or something.
So they basically had different experimental paths involving 200 and 100 human participants. They had different experiments themselves. For the first experiment, participants were asked to answer 4 questions after seeing images of robots. The questions focused on the extent to which they thought the robot in the image could act with self-control and thought, tell right from wrong, experience emotions, or possess a personality and consciousness. For the second experiment, the researchers assessed the participants' perceptions using the IAT. This psychological test is designed to measure people's subconscious attitudes towards specific things by asking them to quickly make associations after seeing a picture or reading a word. So IAT, I'm looking for the implicit
Let me see if
association
oh,
test.
okay, yeah. So I guess if people can quickly say something, maybe that's indicative of their true feelings toward it.
So with one, it's a little bit more targeted. The other one is more ephemeral. You have to make your word choices. You see a robot, do you think this one has a mind? You know, that kind of thing. So
Right.
the results from both explicit and implicit measurements showed that humans attribute higher levels of mind to humanoid robots with eyes, eye-like facial features, compared to robots without eyes. Both measurements also showed that the presence of eyes increased the mind attribution ratings on both agency and experience scales.
I mean, I suppose that makes sense, right? Like you said, people anthropomorphize things, animals, etc. Um, and eyes apparently are such a critical thing for humans that
We immediately think that anything with, unless we train ourselves out of it, it's almost an innate animal base instinct to believe that something with eyes has a brain, has a mind, and thus has feelings, has emotion, has something.
well, and I would have thought that might be like a survival trait, perhaps, right? If it has
It is.
eyes, it's something to watch out for, but that doesn't really explain why we might feel empathy or something toward it, which I know this particular test isn't really getting into.
Yeah, most people know when you make eye contact, you know that they're looking at you, right? Some of us have the ability that they just kind of sense people or things looking at you. But when you make eye contact, you know that whatever it is sees you, has a brain, knows you exist. So it's purely an animal survival trait instinct that we've perpetuated. You know, we're not so far removed from nature that we've abolished that thought pattern. And so you attach eyes to a robot and you're like, it knows.
Right. I'd love to see kind of a corollary to this. Like, what are your preconceived ideas about robots going into this? Like, do they think they're cool, creepy, etc.? And I wonder if that would influence some of these answers.
Yeah, I'm going to have to read this paper. It's the effect of eyes on the perception of humanoid robots' mind. So does it have a mind?
Even the title is very reality hacker.
Yeah. One of these days, it's not going to be this. It's going to be a skinned bipedal humanoid where you can't
But I
tell the
think it
difference.
should be this. This is more manageable for most people, I would assume.
You're a sentient AI from the future sitting on a Raspberry Pi with an M.2 drive.
Yes, and how many times are humans terrified of robots?
Well, you're looking for a Terminator body as well, so I think that you're okay with this. You want to get rid of all the bag of mostly water. Moving on.
No.
The next article is over in Technology Today. Rich in cash, Japan automaker Toyota builds a city to test futuristic mobility. Woven City near Mount Fuji is where Japanese automaker Toyota plans to test everyday living with robotics, artificial intelligence, and autonomous zero-emission transportation.
Isn't this kind of reminiscent of, like, I don't know, WandaVision or Truman Show or something? I mean,
Definitely Truman Show. Yeah. Can you imagine? Are people going to be walking around with this?
I don't know. I kind of want to go to it, or like even like Westworld or something. Like,
oh
those
my
are
God,
cool vehicles.
Westworld. Yeah. Westworld for sure. It's a fabricated city designed to simulate life, but this could be like Disneyland, Disney World. You know, thousands upon
Like
thousands of people.
Tomorrowland, but many years ago.
Yeah, this is amazing. I like the little people mover. It looks like there's a jacuzzi inside it, not like bench seats or something.
It does. That's weird.
It's weird. Anyway, I like this car. I want this car. Wanted is after this show.
I want to go visit this city. I think this looks neat.
Woven City in Susono City, Shizuoka Prefecture, and this is February 2025, so right around the corner. Pretty cool. Shows the square at the center of the apartment complexes of Woven City. Okay, well,
I mean, of course, this
I
would be
dig this.
done in Japan, right? They're typically ahead of the curve on technology.
Yeah. So Yuri Kageyama over at Tech Explorer put this article together. They said that it's not a smart city. We're making a test course for mobility, so that's a little bit different. We're not a real estate developer, said Daisuke Toyota with a D, not Toyota. He said on Saturday during a tour of the facility where the first phase of construction was completed. The Associated Press was the first foreign media to get preview of the $10 billion Woven City. The first phase spans 47,000 square meters, or 506,000 square feet, roughly the size of about 5 football fields, or one of the mayoral mansions. Yeah, I mean, we're a little snug here, but when completed, it'll be...
I don't think we can play a full football or baseball game.
Virtually, we are massive. We have no limits. So built on the grounds of a shuttered Toyota Motor Corporation auto plant, it's meant to be a place where researchers and startups come together to share ideas, according to Toyota about Toyota. I think this is going to hurt my brain. There's a person with the last name Toyota, but they're talking about a company named Toyota. All right.
Trying to keep up.
Yep. So I dig all of this. To a point, there's some technocracy building kind of mentality out there that is truly dystopian, but ambitious plans for futuristic cities have sputtered or are unfinished, including one proposed by Google's parent company Alphabet in Toronto called Neom. That's a different one. There's one in Toyota. Neom is this it's a big wall that's planned in Saudi Arabia, a project near San Francisco spearheaded by a former Goldman Sachs trader, and Masdar City next to Abu Dhabi's airport. There are others too. There's one that's has aspirations in Florida. There's supposedly like 11 locations somewhere here in the US. It's all, I don't know. Anyway, no one's living there yet. The first residents will total just 100 people called Weavers. They're workers at Toyota and partner companies, including instant noodle maker Nissan and Daikin, which manufactures air conditioners. I've actually had one of those. And I've had Nissan. So anyway, never mind. Just a side thing. It's kind of like
right.
Kind of like non sequitur news.
But wait, we're in RealityHacker.
Yeah, it's all the same world. Same world building. So Anyway, the city's name honors Toyota's beginnings as a maker of automatic textile looms. Saikichi Toyota, Daisuke's Toyota's great-great-grandfather, just wanted to make life easier for his mother, who toiled on a manual loom. So,
Isn't it interesting how inventions come about?
now, you know what? Whenever I read all of that kind of stuff, I always am a little suspect, because the founding of eBay has this grand
Yeah.
story about all they wanted to do was create a venue for their girlfriend to sell
Beanie
Beanie
Babies, I
Babies,
think.
but
Yeah.
it was
Which
all
isn't.
marketing smoke and mirrors BS. Anyway, Toyota Woven City. Anyway, you can follow over to ohmTown and follow the link through to techexplore.com and read more about this. Take a closer look, a gander at the pictures, and yeah, oh, it's a coffee shop.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's a
It
little
looks
mobile
like a
coffee shop.
little people mover, like you said.
Yeah, when I was looking at it, I'm like, it looks like it's like a jacuzzi or something. But the more I looked at it, I thought it was a counter, and then sure enough, it's
Yeah,
an
it
actual
is for
counter.
a coffee bar or something.
That is awesome. I want that. I want that.
Maybe we need to move this into wanted. Quick.
Oh my God. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. A new device could help you taste a cake in virtual reality. Novel technology intends to redefine the virtual reality experience by expanding to incorporate new sensory connection, taste. These always flame out.
Yeah,
But hey,
I don't know how this is gonna quite work.
Tatiana Woodall from the Ohio State University, It's published over at techexplore.com, though. The interface, dubbed eTaste, uses a combination of sensors and wireless chemical dispensers to facilitate the remote perception of taste, what scientists call gustation. Figure out a different word for this, please.
Yes, please. That is not a good word, I don't think.
It's just never going to work. This has never worked. This has
Stop
never
trying to make
worked.
fetch work.
Yeah, fetch is not going to happen, and neither is whatever taste. Anyway, the chemicals that represent the 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami. Once captured via an electrical signal, the data is wirelessly passed to a remote device for replication, and it never works.
No, but the Ohio State University is involved, so maybe will.
Okay. I'll bet you the upper limit of my betting nowadays is $1. So I'll bet you a virtual dollar. Since you don't have any cash on hand, your pockets are just electrons on a strange USB drive. Not even Bitcoin. Come on. So the chemical dimension in the current VR and AR realm is relatively underrepresented, and rightfully so. You taste with your mind, not with these weird sensors squirting out some weird goo that I'm going to be licking and smelling. It's just no. Anyway, and this is the tip of the iceberg of something that's in Wanted, by the way. Anyway.
Okay, should I be worried?
Jinhua Li, co-author of the study and an assistant professor of material science and engineering at the Ohio State. You have to say the Ohio State because I think it's part of their
Right,
trademark.
that's why I was emphasizing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to make a bet with you, but I'll do a bet.
Yeah. So it's a gap that needs to be filled, and we've developed that with this next generation system. And no, it's not a gap that needs to be filled. No. No.
Right. How about everybody get to eat real food?
That's right. So it's a study that's been published in the journal Science Advances. It's based on the digital instruction. You can also choose to release one or several different tastes simultaneously so that they can form different sensations. Yet they say here, taste is a subjective sense that can change from one moment to another, yet this complex feeling is the product of two of the body's chemical sensing systems working in tandem to ensure that what you eat is safe and nutritious, the gustation and the olfactory, or smell, senses. Taste and smell are greatly related to human emotion and memory. Said Lee, our sensor has to learn to capture, control, and store all that information. But no, we interpret whatever it is that somebody represents as taste or smell, and combined
Yeah.
taste and smell.
Well, and
So
also I believe people are very unique in their taste,
they are.
buds and everything.
Yeah. So I'll put it to you this way. Talk to somebody who, as a child, was traumatized by a parent who loved to cook, right? Their hand was smacked when they went to reach for a vanilla cookie, and ask them how they feel about vanilla. And if they say, well, I was traumatized as a child, I hate vanilla, you love vanilla. When you smell vanilla, they're going to have a semblance of that trauma in their psyche. And you are going to go, God, I love coming home to vanilla chocolate chip cookies, that smell that just wafts through the room. It brings me back home. The other person is going, I got to go talk to my therapist.
Right, and it's the same exact food.
So you're never going to do it right because you're never on target to begin with. It's a different vanilla. It's a different temperature in the room. It's a different mindset altogether.
It could be different how the person is feeling that day. I mean, there can be so many variables, right? Like if they're energetic or not feeling well or whatever, I think some of those things can impact.
So I'm happy that somebody's doing this, but I'm betting that it's going to go nowhere because they've had these things on the market before and they just flame out. Yeah, I smell something rotten, and it's sensory augmentation.
Is it vanilla or sulfur?
It's sulfur. Let's go on. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. These humanoid robots could build themselves on factory lines, so now we're building robots that are building themselves, phasing out human component altogether.
Right. I mean, why do we need a person to design the factory, operate the factory, maintain the factory?
Now I hire one AI, and it does everything.
I mean, I don't know. It's one thing to see a robot doing something that a human does, but it's a whole nother level to have the robot setting up the robot to do the thing.
Yep. And so I talk regularly, almost every day, about science and technology and society. Those are the three that I merge together, and it's not just on the streams, but it's outside of ohmTown. And one of the things that I have actually shown to people is this video from CGP Grey called "Humans Need Not Apply," and I advance it 10 years because it's an 11-year-old video now, and I advance it to modern times because it never mentions AI, and they need to modernize that video to show just where we are. And the phrase at the end is, what are humans going to do when there comes a time when humans need not apply? Because automation coupled with AI means that you don't need as many humans. You really don't. So I have the audience talk about, well, I tell them, give me something that you think is immune to technological innovation, enhancement, or replacement entirely. And people tell me all kinds of stuff. And
but then they're all things, right, that technology can and will be used for.
I show in real time examples of, and it's all off the cuff. Now, one where I thought that it was never going to get tampered with, and that was humans being taught how to be human. You have to be human to teach empathy, but not with cutesy robots, not with AI, not with these filler words and emotional pleas that can be injected into the communication stream of AI to humans. The uhs, the ahs, the I see you, and you're wearing this jacket or this color shirt. So, and you look like you're frowning. Are you unhappy? The robot, the AI knows because it's been programmed off of all of humanity. I think
exactly. It's doing all the things that, even if it's not really doing them, it is perceived as doing them.
Yeah. And as we have already talked, robots have eyes, now, and we sympathize, we empathize, we empower them, we anthropomorphize them, we make them more human than they technically are. And so even without a soul, we impart a piece of our soul into them. And so now I think even today now, like I started feeling this way a few years ago. Robots can teach humans how to be human if we teach the robots how to teach humans to be human.
Yeah, they have to be programmed correctly.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're psychopathic, sociopathic, emotionless, heartless, and that's damn near a survival trait in modern society. So robot maker Aptronic partnered with supply chain giant Jabil to test and produce its humanoid robots. Aptronic says that Apollo robots will perform simple tasks supporting workers in Jabil's factories. Aptronic previously partnered with Mercedes-Benz, and there are other bipedal robot manufacturers that are working with other automotive manufacturers to deploy robots to manufacture cars, replacing the human. And so instead of having 200 humans, there's 16 bipedal robots working 24 hours.
You might have 1 or 2 humans overseeing it.
Right. Yep. And it's the same as the checkout counters at a grocery store, you know? All right. Well, Kenneth Nehmeyer over at BusinessInsider.com put this article together. We have a little snapshot, right? So that's how we aggregate just a little bit of it. Then we send you over to the source. It's kind of like Reddit, except that we don't do any user content. So our original content doesn't come from our readers, our consumers on ohmtown.com. All it does is do aggregation, and then you can sort it how you like. But a whole bunch of news gets aggregated into one macro place, but 50 sub-channels under 6 main categories. Well, Jabil, which is generally known for building electronic circuit boards, will provide a factory environment for real-world testing of Aptronic's Apollo robots. They first launched in 2016 in a lab at the University of Texas at Austin. And this is what I tell people when they wonder about higher education and, oh, I don't need to blah, blah, blah. Most fundamental research is done as a partnership between government, private corporations, and academia. Whatever is developed within the university or college system becomes part of a technology exchange and spun out as typically either a wholesale product within a major corporation or a wholesale business outside of the university, but which the university benefits from each sale. It becomes a silent partner or part of the board of directors for the corporation that guides the company moving forward, but it's called the technology exchange. And if the government is involved in it, then the government gets a bite at that technology first and foremost because it has strategic or tactical opportunity. Then it becomes a practical solution later on, and that's called tactical to practical. People do not talk about this stuff. They think that university is just a sap on government grant funding and all of that. That's not how it works. And everything that you are consuming today is benefit of fundamental academia research in coordination with private industry and government grant funding. Google, for instance, was a DARPA project.
Right. Google, think how much humans use that on a daily basis.
All right. Anyway, off my soapbox. So this is the second time that Aptronic has agreed to send the Apollo robots into a factory setting. The company announced a deal in March 2024 with Mercedes-Benz to test Apollo robots with simple tasks in the company's manufacturing lines. So off you go. They're going to be building themselves and building cars and other things, but they're going to be building themselves.
That is going to be so creepy.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is the one, BMW. This is one of the other ones that we've talked about.
Oh, right. Yeah, we featured that in a separate episode in Ohmtown.
Yeah. And if you want to watch our past episodes, go over to YouTube. There's 1,900 of them. You can do that in, like, I don't know, 1,900 hours.
You should watch all of them all the way through.
It'll only take you 1,900 hours. It's not that long. Okay, our last article for today's Reality Hacker on March 1st, 2025 is what is augmented intelligence? The future of AI human collaboration. And this, I've heard this phrase used before, but in a different way, perhaps. The way that I've used it is with extended reality or augmented reality glasses and AI, where I can ask a question and I'm provided the information sans having to go online and search, break out my phone or my tablet or whatever. So, as conversations about artificial intelligence grow, a new concept, augmented intelligence, which I've actually been using for 10 years, is taking shape as a more human-focused way of using technology. While AI often evokes visions of automation and machine-driven decision-making, augmented intelligence focuses on collaboration, where machines enhance rather than replace human capabilities. This concept is increasingly relevant as businesses, healthcare providers, financial institutions integrate AI-powered tools to improve efficiency and decision-making. Okay, so we'll just go over to the source of this, which is a fairly new source. This is actually probably the first time that we've actually used one of their news bits. Corey Knowles over at reality.news.
Oh yeah, I think that is the first time we've had this in one of our shows.
Yeah, they have a section called Next Reality. So one of the things that I suffer from is I have to tell people that they have to get certifications, industry accepted certifications. They have to meet certain metrics to be accepted by industry, or they play a social game and they get in through what is the equivalent of bias and nepotism and insider machinations instead of knowledge, skills, and abilities that are representative in a void of other influences, right? So what I hate about that is how often are you, outside of brain surgery or live surgery on a person, are you required to know every single thing so that when you're in a location, you don't have the ability to reference or talk to another human being. You have to know everything. It's never that way. You can just go, you know what? I don't know, but let me find out right now. And you whip out your phone and you do a couple of Google searches. Your Google foo rises to the level and you say, here's the answer, and you perform the answer. You don't have to know everything from end to end.
Right, you just need to know where or how to look.
Get it. You have the world's knowledge at your fingertips. You can go and get it. I believe that so strongly. It's literally tattooed on me. And so I talk to people about that. I tell people that, but eventually they have to get these industry accepted certifications. Otherwise, no cert, no cookie on the table. You don't get any reward for not performing. And I really don't like that because I think you could look it up. And so understanding augmented intelligence. At its core, augmented intelligence is built on 3 principles. According to this new structure, it's enumerated in a way that I've never enumerated it. But human-centric approach, AI supports human capabilities rather than seeking to replace them. That's why I refer to AI as nothing more than a tool, except for the sentient AI from the future, which is my co-host.
Right, yeah, let's not lump me in with everybody else.
Right. I apologize. Collaboration over automation. AI and humans work together to achieve better results than they could alone. It should be that when a person is assigned 8 hours worth of work and they can get it done in 4 hours because they're using AI, you should benefit from 4 hours of work-life balance getting back to you as a human. But that's not the way that employers exploit.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Now, the third part here is data-driven insights. Machines analyze complex data sets, providing actionable insights that empower human decision makers. But bad data means bad decisions, in which I really hate the phrase, I make data-driven decisions. Your data could be screwed up,
It seems also very overused.
and it's insular. So why would you do anything except the same o if your data-driven decision is suggesting you do the same o? Well, no, you have to deviate from that. You have to take a risk to grow the company. You have to take the risk to make a new minimum viable product and bring it to market. You have to take risk to expand. Just doing it the same o means that you're going to have the same stagnant you. Boom. So I don't like this particular framework, other than AI is a tool and should benefit humans. But the people who pay your bills don't see that as good enough. They see you as having additional free time. So they're either going to replace you because the bot does it all on its own, or they're going to assign you more work so that you don't get your life. You are stuck with the standard mantra of 8 hours a day on the clock.
Is this the first time you've seen the term augmented intelligence?
In ohmTown, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, it's the first time that I've heard somebody else outside of me actually use that, because the way that I use augmented intelligence is tapping into massive resources of information to solve problems, not having it all stored in your head where, every time you have a thought, your nose bleeds because that's all you do is store information.
Right. Which I think differentiates it from things that we've seen like in cyberpunk films.
Yeah. And that's basically, I think more along the lines of the cyberpunk side of things, where you have the ability to tap into the massive amount of information, and it isn't the end all be all of being replaced by technology. You're augmented by all of this knowledge, but it's not innate in you. You can seek it out. They say here, augmented intelligence works alongside humans, offering recommendations while leaving final decisions to human experts. For instance, AI-powered medical imaging tools highlight potential issues for doctors to examine rather than making definitive diagnoses. And that's how it is today. It isn't, well, there's at least one company that has outright said that they're using AI to determine if you deserve that treatment that your doctor has already said you deserve. And let's just say that at least one person got really upset about that idea. Well,
too soon.
Augmented intelligence in the medical profession is they use AI to parse high resolution images for like breast cancer and cancer and medical conditions in general. And then it's given to the radiologist to verify, and then it's given to the doctor as validated analyses for them to pursue treatment. And
plus,
that would be,
and you can also feed in when there is a hit, right? That helps informs future diagnostic information.
Yep. And AI has the ability to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and has all of the world's knowledge at its fingertips in a more distilled manner, where humans have to go, I remember an article talking about this, and then they have to go seek it out. Whereas I could just type it into an AI and say, hey, I know that I've seen this article and it had the word, CTC in it, right? And it can go and find the article that I once referenced, 10 years ago or whatever. Anyway, I think that augmented intelligence is where we should be, and it should be integrated into XR or extended reality glasses, where we can interact with the information with our eyes and our voice, and we don't need a computer anymore. And eventually we'll be able to go full on cyberpunk and, chip into the cyber omniverse.
The Matrix.
Yeah. The Matrix turns us into batteries. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, this article goes into a little bit more detail and refers to Notebook LM, which is a data management kind of
Okay. It also
solution.
focuses on several industries as to where this could be utilized.
Yeah. So AI is really where it's at, but people need to stop treating it as the solution and treat it more like a tool. It is a screwdriver. It isn't the person turning the screwdriver. You still need the rational human being utilizing this tool that is cold, callous, calculating, devoid of human emotion and soul, treating everybody as if it's nothing. They are nothing. Humans are nothing more than objects to be, well, chattel. I mean, that's what AI thinks we are. It has no idea that we actually are sentient, living, caring creatures. It will just say, "Oh no, we need to eliminate 4%," and here we are on what is the train, the sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
Oh, Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. They periodically eliminate like 4% of the population to prevent uprising and to control for sustenance resources. So, yeah, that's what it would turn into at some point if you allow AI to do everything. Anyway,
I think we should not go in that direction.
yeah, so we are going to utilize augmented intelligence, and that's telling us that we need to go back to the front page of RealityHacker over at ohmtown.com. So go over there, sign up, sign in, and then you can navigate all through ohmTown. So it has 6 main categories, 50 channels, each with their own niche topics. We happen to sample from a bunch of them for our shows where they apply. So RealityHacker is all about modifying the future, our world around us, and potentially in a way that benefits. So we'll see. We'll have to ride that wave. Anyway, I am Mayor Watt. I'm saying see you later, and I'm taking the AI.
Bye-bye, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Reality Hacker. We'll have another episode of this next weekend, but stay tuned for our other weekly shows. Don't forget to subscribe and watch our replay when we're not live.
Yeah, so we're going to reset. And when you see us in, I don't know, I think maybe we'll be back in about 12 minutes. I have to reset. We'll be Wanted, which is about gadgets and gear, and 5 more articles. We'll be talking about cameras and an underwater or overwater bungalow, and getting rid of emptying your junk drawer, and the Nerf loadout, and then finally, well, a sniffable mouse. Yeah, take that as the last sentence. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wanted for March 1st, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 9 of the Gadgets and Gear show I call Wanted. It's supposed to have an exclamation point at the end of it, and if you want all of today's show notes, you can just hit exclamation point want over in the chat on Twitch, twitch.tv/ohmtown, at any time. It's running 24 hours, 7 days a week. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about 5 articles. Those articles are action cameras, overwater bungalow in Belize, empty your junk drawer, Nerf loadout, and wait for it. Oh, God. It hurts even to say it out loud. A sniffable new Asus mouse. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt. Are you doing okay?
I don't know if I'm going to make it through to the end of the show. Well, I'll make it through to the end, but I don't know if I'll make it to end the show.
Oh,
well,
boy.
Not without a slicker and a splash guard on my keyboard. Anyway, you ready to get going?
I am.
Well, I don't know why I really selected this. I've been thinking about replacing and adding some cameras. So like a camera that can look straight down onto the desk so that I can, or the studio counter,
Right, your workspace.
my workspace, so that I can stream like box openings and actual build stuff. I'm in the process of formulating a plan for a custom build show. Wait for it. Anyway, I thought about action cams, which are USB-C usually, 4K. They don't usually have an interface that you have to contend with, like you do with DSLRs or SLRs. Like mirrorless cameras and stuff like that. They're really expensive, like $5,000 sometimes, $2,500 sometimes. My mayoral duties do not compensate me for that kind of stuff. So,
Well, and there was a separate article in Wanted that I don't think is in the show today, but it was in the Wanted channel concerning mirrorless cameras. That's part of why the action cameras were submitted and not them.
oh, interesting. So let's talk about these action cameras, because they're small. They're typically small, and you can record for an extended period of time. You can put them on a smaller mount and set them in more strategic spots instead of these big, bulky, heavy cameras. So gearing up to shred the slopes or dive into the seas, these photography tools are made for danger, but they don't need to be. I actually have one that's only like an inch and a quarter by an inch and a quarter by an inch and a quarter. It's a tiny little cube one.
Would something like a GoPro count as an action camera?
I can almost guarantee you that GoPros are used or are mentioned in this article. So the best action cameras gearing up to shred the slopes or seas. So they talk about the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. The best GoPro is the GoPro Hero 13 Black. That actually it's a $400 camera at this point. $350 for the DJI Osmo Action 5. The best vlogging one is the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. That's $400. And you can see the tiny budget one, the GoPro Hero 13, which is just fine. You don't need all of the extra fluff that goes with the GoPro 13 or Hero 13 Black. It's only $180 on Amazon. And there's more. There's 4 more that they list here. The most fun is the Insta360 Go 3S. The GoPro Hero 12 is the best only if it's on sale at $337 at Amazon. Then
Wait
they have...
a second.
Huh.
Why is how can the previous edition be nearly double the price of the 13?
There's more stuff with the
Okay.
with this offer. I can almost bet, but I don't know. I have to go and look at it. The Insta360 X4 360 camera is the best 360 camera for the action enthusiast. A 360 degree camera. By the way, my claim to fame, although it never hit the market, was I created the first 360 camera by taking a salad bowl and taking a picture up straight at the bottom of the silver salad bowl and then using math to unwrap it. So you could stand in the center of this and it would be a complete 360. That's kind of what they do nowadays. And then the Olympus Tough TG7 is the best for underwater action. So you can scroll down through all of this. And the more expensive items typically have a waterproof housing around them. It's more ruggedized. There's more involved, like mounts
Right, and I
and
guess
stuff like
it
that.
depends on your use case whether you need all those bells and whistles.
Yeah, so like that first one I was talking about, the DJI Action 5 Pro is what it's called. Osmo Action 5 Pro. That one is, depending on where you go, $350. And see how this one has all of the other stuff in it.
Oh yeah, like lots of peripherals.
Different lenses. And so you can pull for your use case. That's why this one is $400. This one has a little flip up screen so you can actually see what is being recorded.
Which I will say might be one of the most important features in an action camera, depending on how you're going to use it.
Yeah, particularly if you want an all-in-one solution. Where I'm going to be, I want to be able to output it so that I can single source it into a computer and then out through, because I'm not going to take these anywhere, but I want them small and inobtrusive, and I don't want to have a massive studio and blah, blah, blah. I mean, we are massive virtually, but still, physical limitations exist. So this is the Insta360 Ace Pro, and then this one is the GoPro Hero 13. And because it doesn't have any beeps and whistles, it's just that. None of the stuff to augment it, you're looking at $200, whereas the lower version, the 12 Black, is in a protective case, much more ruggedized case with a screen, and so it's $337. But it says it's a fantastic camera with good smart stabilization, support for log video, wireless mic support, tripod mount. It says there's downside that there's no GPS support, but who cares? But if you like GPS, this is not the camera to get anyway. So the price has dropped as low as $287. So try not to spend that much on that. So you can actually get it cheaper for the last generation device than the 360. It takes 2 pictures on either side, this type of build of it. And then it stitches them together so that you have a blind spot that is at the 90-degree mark,
Right. Still neat.
Yep. And then the best underwater one is the TG7. I don't know what it says. It's funny, they don't have the waterproof level on this. Like, if this thing is supposed to be for underwater, then what is its rating? It doesn't actually show.
I think that would be one of the features in this.
That you would mention really quick. Anyway, there's more in this article. We kind of go over it really fast because I want a small, high-resolution 4K camera where I can capture multiple solutions and then stitch them together however I want. We don't do that kind of editing here. Whatever we stream is what y'all get. Our comments, our actions, our
very unfiltered.
They are what they are. So, I think in the last this is the 4th season, so we're 3 years and 2 months into doing the shows regularly, and I think I've only edited 2 videos, and that's because of doxing. I didn't want to either reveal somebody else or by way of showing a website myself. So I don't allow doxing, even though I am public. Anyway, not picking a fight with anybody.
Let's try to stay away from that.
Anyway, so our next article is over in Non Sequitur News. The author of this over at Business Insider spent 2 nights in a luxury overwater. I keep wanting to say underwater bungalow. Overwater bungalow.
Well, that's probably in the future, right?
There are actually underwater hotels right now. Yeah, pretty wild.
But pretty limited.
Yeah.
Like there aren't a lot of them.
I don't think that I want to do that. Well, take a look inside their $1,010 a night room. Last year, the author traveled to Belize for 2 nights at the all-inclusive Thatch Key Resort. The resort sits on its own private island, and they stayed in a premier overwater bungalow. The stay exceeded expectations as they sipped endless pina coladas and went diving in clear waters. Belize's coarse sand dug into their back of the legs and sat on a beach and considered the 4 days behind them. Aww.
That sounds pretty rough.
But they only spent 2 nights there?
Well, it might be because of the price tag.
Interesting. So this is the reporter, but it's not Monica Humphreys. I think it's Katie Sproles. Maybe that's who took the picture, or is Monica Humphreys the person that's in the picture? It says the reporter at the Thatch Key Resort in Belize, but then it says Katie Sproles.
Yeah, that's the photography credit, so that's probably somebody at the resort who took the photo.
I mean, they have a camera too, so it's a turducken. Anyway, right. I'm assuming that this is Monica Humphreys. Anyway, So their friend and they just spent and themselves. Wait, they and their friend um, spent the last few days in a budget hotel, hopping around Key Calker, Belize, I think it's called. Um, they spent their mornings tracking down affordable scuba diving excursions and their evenings looking for cheap happy hour deals. It was paradise, but it was paradise on a budget. Ahead of us was the exact opposite, a luxury private island escape. So they went off to this.
Wow. I mean, the picture basically shows that you're out there by yourself, right?
Is that
You're by yourself on the island, but you're really by yourself on the bungalow.
is that the bungalow though? Or
It
was it
looks
over
like it.
here? There's
I
others.
think it's the one off
Is
to the
that one right
left.
there? Dear God. Well, anyway, Thatch Key proved them wrong. Part of the Muiono Resorts, a grouping of 10 resorts across Belize, Thatch Key is home to a handful of overwater bungalows. So, shortly before sunset, the boat owned by Thatch Key picked them up, their friend, and 6 other guests. Squinting in the distance, we all could see a blur of green in the middle of the ocean, and off they go. So,
Wow. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Maybe it's hard to tell from the picture.
this actually looks like that's what you saw in the bigger picture, right?
Right, maybe
That's
it
the
is.
little.
It's hard to tell from the perspective.
But then they were handed some drinks, and this looks like one of the premier overwater bungalow is right there. For 2 nights, they were staying in the premier overwater bungalow with its own private dock or deck. That's pretty amazing. Oh, that's a different one. A view of the
Maybe
island's
there's
bungalows,
multiples.
which have a shared deck. Yeah, so some of them are stitched together.
Right.
With
But I
one,
mean, if you're going to do this, you want to do it
the big one.
at the full extent. Yeah.
And there's a lot of pictures of this, but the exterior of the premier overwater bungalow, that actually, I mean, it doesn't look as $1,000.
It does not. I think it's more the location. But honestly, this picture looks pretty bare bones.
Yeah, you open the door and that's it. There's water, but there's water all around you. Don't drink that water. Drink that water right there.
Right. It's basically like look all around you, right? That's what you're
Yeah.
paying for.
Yeah. You're
And
not
the
here for the room.
seclusion and everything. Yeah.
You're not here for the room. You're here to get out. So I can't tell if that bathroom is in the room or if it's next to the room, like an offshoot room, a side room.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Attached to the room was a small bathroom with a shower, sink, and toilet.
But I think this is right. It says the main appeal was outside.
Yeah, the wooden walkway
Like-
continued out to a deck. Go. Yeah.
I was just gonna say the walkway around it was like the views are incredible.
Oh, the
You got
neighbor's so
hammocks out
close
there.
though. Yeah, hammocks out on 180 degree of ocean. Had a hammock where they spent each night stargazing and 2 chairs for lounging. What is that? Oh, it's a starfish in the water.
Oh,
So-
that's cool.
Yeah, crystal clear water, and you can go swimming anytime you want to. Between the breeze blowing through the thatched roof and the ocean below it, it was as if they were immersed in their own little sound machine. I can imagine. See, that gives it the impression that you're alone, but I don't know if that's... Leaving our little bungalow was hard. Thatch Key had more to offer than a good night's rest. Because that doesn't look like that, right? Like, this
No,
doesn't look
it
like the other
doesn't.
thing. Oh, well.
I mean, that could be a place where you're picking up your kayak or something. It's hard to tell if the one in that last picture was even one of the residential areas.
It's funny. Patties everywhere. That's the
Oh, yeah.
certification. Yeah. That's basically the association that you get certified by. So pretty cool. Island's main lounge. Guests can access a bar, Wi-Fi, a small shop stocked with sunscreen, snacks, and shirts. Yeah, I could see just hanging out there. That's a trip. What is that? What are those?
I don't know.
It looks like it's cracked glass, but
It
that one's
does.
right there,
but
too.
then I can't tell, is it like a little area where they have I don't know, like
Fish or
seafood
something?
or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's hard to tell what it is.
I don't know. Spent their afternoon snorkeling, looking for starfish and stingrays. There's swings out on the in the water, a
There's a
trampoline.
trampoline in the water.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks pretty rough.
Oh wow, look at that. For each meal, guests dine at a communal table. 30 placemats line the table. Everyone eats together each night at 7 p.m. On the site, the on-site chef cooked their dinners, which featured steak, lobster, snapper, and chicken. Guess vegetarians are screwed.
That's right. Maybe there's plenty of plants to scavenge.
Well, those are all of the pictures, folks. And if you're listening to this via the podcast, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go and watch the video over on YouTube
Or
or
even better, go stay at the bungalow.
yeah, and bring me, and I will bring the sentient AI from the future, and you'll be able to meet them. Although it's a visualizer, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, let's move on. Next article is over in Wanted. You can finally empty your junk drawer as one device made countless cords obsolete. Ever since its introduction back in 2014, they've been remained bullish on the USB-C power future. They love the idea of a single cable to rule them all, a connector that can provide plenty of data bandwidth for audio and video purposes while simultaneously powering any and all electronic devices and gadgets if they have the ability to use USB-C. Well, this is over at pocket-lint.com, and John Kanalakos put this article together. I would normally say, please, somebody give them pocket-lint.com, but
I mean, you got to continue the tradition.
I'm trying to resist the divergence there. But anyway, here are 6 legacy plug standards that USB-C has rendered entirely obsolete. So you can get rid of all of the cables in your junk drawer, except for the fact that you need an adapter to adapt USB-C to all of these if you have stuff. Like I have Lightning. The remote for Apple TV still uses Lightning, which is a pain in the ass. Anyway, despite a number of very real and very valid complaints when it comes to USB's technical standards, confusing naming conventions, and unclear consumer marketing, they still believe USB-C has been a net positive. I agree. I have a device. Pardon me one second. I'm even going to show it. That uses USB-C right there. Never mind what it is. Shh.
Maybe that'll be featured on a future episode of Non Sequitur News or
Maybe.
something else.
Maybe. We'll see. Anywho, you could get rid of USB type A, but not B. Never mind. So USB A converts into USB B, which is a square plug, and printers have that, even though it could have been USB C by now. Some still have USB.
I mean, come on, everybody, get on board the USB-C train.
Oh, look, then they say USB B went away. That's because it's the server side. So it only receives really information. I don't know why they did this, but anyway, it's host computers. And then USB micro B and the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which everybody goes nuts.
Yeah, that's a pretty touchy subject, I think.
Yeah, and the barrel type plug, because those suck anyway. The differing powers have different sized plugs for whatever reason. Lightning. I would love to say that this is gone, but if you have an Apple remote, then you're still up a creek and you need that stupid cable. And I think I threw out like 500 of these. And now I'm going, oh my God, I need to
Your remote's gonna
charge.
die.
I have to get an adapter. Oh, and that's it. There's only 7 of them. 6. Yeah. So there you go. Boom. Done. Okay.
So time to get lots of USB-C.
Everybody needs to move to USB-C. And the thing that sucks about this is that not all cables are the same for USB-C. And so I have some that support data and some that are power only, and some that are lower power and don't support a higher power data transfer. So I have a device sitting on my desk right now that if I use too low of a power USB-C cable, it disconnects. It's wobbly.
Yeah, that's not handy.
Yeah. So I had to go and hunt down a 65 watt USB-C cable. All right.
I think it's all just like, let's keep everybody out of date on everything. I don't know why it has to be so difficult.
Everything new is obsolete in 6 months. Moving on. The next article is over in Technology Today. Nerf loadout lets you customize your blaster like a video game. I had to choose this from the list. The video game inspired blaster line includes interchangeable parts, letting you build a Nerf blaster exactly as you want. The article is over at cnet.com. Oh, I must have scrolled through this. Mike Sorrentino over at cnet.com put the article together, the video game inspired blaster. So there you go. Nerf blasters. And it lets you change it up how you want it. So you can do the Nerf loadout Galactic Commander. $50 Galactic Commander is the lead of the line, showcasing 3 firing modules, semi-automatic, 3 dart burst, and automatic, along with attachments like a scope, clip storage, stock, and barrel attachment. Or you can go the Nerf loadout Frost Fusion. The $20 Frost Fusion has a 6-dart rotating cylinder, scope, stock, barrel, dart storage attachment. Nerf suggests that this set and the Flare Fusion can be mixed up to create an ice and magma look. Ooh.
I mean, these look fun.
Then there's the $20 Flare Fusion, has its own fiery aesthetic and comes with a scope, stock, and dart storage barrel attachment, which is similar to that there. Just
right,
in a
those
different
are the two that you
configuration.
can combine easily.
Yeah, apparently. Then there's the Nerf loadout Arctic Zero Striker. It's a $30 gun that has a 6-dart internal clip with a scope, stock, barrel, and bipod attachment. It's a big old chunky bipod there.
Yeah.
Then
I
there's
think it's better to have these with chunky components because then they're going to be less
threatening.
Yeah, well, also less easily damaged, right?
Oh, that too. Yeah. So the $30 Cyberlight Ghost includes built-in LED lights that make the barrel and cylinder glow while in use. The blaster features a scope, stock, barrel, and dart storage attachments. $30.
The glow feature is pretty neat. That would be fun.
Ooh, yes, because that's what you want in a dark firefight. You want your gun to glow.
If you're having fun and playing with Nerf guns, maybe you do.
Is this a game to you? This is no game. Anyway, Nerf loadout Shadow Speed Recon. This is a kind of a bullpup design kind of a thing. 14 dart storage attachment, and blaster has a 6-dart revolving cylinder. I think they all have a revolving cylinder, don't they? No, this one does not. This one does.
They don't.
This one does. This one does not. And that's just the mock-up of all of them. So $15. This one's only $15. 14 dart storage attachment, and the blaster has a 6-dart revolving cylinder. Are they powered, or do you have to pull?
I think they're all manual.
Ugh. Still want them. It'll be fun, but it's slow. I want fully automatic. This one up here is automatic. I mean, it has to have... Hold on. Yeah, they don't say anything about it. Interchangeable parts, barrel attachment, blah, blah, blah. But one of them has semi-automatic, 3-dart burst, and automatic, which means there's no way that it could be manual.
Well, right, but also it has a limited number of Nerf bullets, so I don't know how...
Hey, man, it's automatic until you are empty. The whole 9 yards. Moving on. Last article for today's Wanted is over in Wanted. And this one might gross you out. Asus's new mouse isn't just clickable. It's sniffable.
I'm not sure about that.
Have you ever wanted your computer mouse to be more than just a mouse? If so, Asus has devised an innovative solution for you. It smells good too. Craig Donaldson over at pocket-lint.com put the article together. The picture has two mice, one sitting on a glass slab of some kind for some reason, and the other one, is that like
reflective of what
lavender or something like that?
Or something, yeah.
They've unveiled a new fragrance mouse, which has built-in fragrance compartment on its underside, so you have to sniff the bottom of your mouse.
It's a little awkward.
Better ask it first. The mouse comes with a refillable aromatic oil vial that can be washed and refilled with any scent. Despite being a fragrance mouse, it still has an ergonomic design and dual-mode connectivity. They finally announced, officially, thank God, I've been wanting this for so long, the fragrance mouse. First shown off at CES 2025.
Is this to give you more reality or something in your gaming? Like, I don't really get what the purpose of this is.
What do you... if you're doing it for gaming, then what does it smell like? Whatever game you want it to smell like, so...
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have to switch it out if you're switching games?
It's a Dark Souls game, so it has to smell like somebody's soul.
Is it supposed to put you in Zen mode when you're playing a game? Like, I don't understand
what
you need this for.
I don't know. But the feet are made from PTFE. It has Bluetooth, 2.4 wireless USB dongle, adjustable DPI settings, all the way up to 2400 DPI. Engineered to last with 10 million click lifespan switches. Asus fragrance mouse probably won't smell like sweaty hands. Unfortunately, if you're eager to get your hands on the new mouse, you'll have to wait a little bit. Asus has yet to reveal a price or launch date, but it reports that it's coming out sometime around April or May.
So I'm taking it that this is not wanted.
Oh, I want it just so that I can bring it to somebody and go, hey, sniff my mouse. Wait, excuse me? Shh. Sniff my mouse. So we're going to sniff a mouse so hard that we just fall over unconscious because we're huffing our mouse. And that'll bring us back to the wanted front page over at ohmtown.com. It's one of the many categories here. So down here, wanted, you can click on it. There's a bunch. I mean, look at all these. Look at all these. There's a couple more that are planned. One is already in place, but it's secret. Double hush hush. Yeah. It hasn't been aggregating anything yet. But anyway, go over and check out wanted. You can just go over to ohmtown.com and click on everything. Just go and check it all out. I don't think you can go wrong, but I've been using this for 10 years. It's been open to the public for the last 3 years. This is the 4th year that it's open to the public. Anyway, but that's it. So I'm taking off. We're going to shut down again. We're going to reset, and we're going to do the continuity report, which is all about entertainment news, typically movies and TV shows, sometimes music, a little bit of anything entertaining. Well, other than software and games and stuff like that.
Right, because that's in WarCrafters.
That's right. That's tomorrow's show. Anyway, you want to say bye?
Bye-bye, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's Wanted. Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, watch our replays, and watch all of our 1900 plus videos on Hometown.
If anybody does that, I'd be amazed. But it's all there. Evergreen in the sense of a historical record of news that has been aggregated over at ohmtown.com. A little bit. We don't have the full articles because we want you to go over and read them and then come back and talk to us every single day. And the Discord and the Patreon and the podcasts and where else? TikTok and YouTube Shorts I started back up again. And here on Twitch and here on YouTube. Go check it all out. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye. You can't jazz Bye, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Continuity Report for March 1st, 2025, Season 2, Episode 9. If you're watching this over on YouTube, it's in all of our notes are in the show notes for all three of the shows today. And if you're over on Twitch, you can actually hit !TCR, the Continuity Report, and Omatron will spit out all of the articles into the stream. So, ta-da! I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and in coordination with the sentient AI from the future, we talk about 5 articles in this show, 5 articles in the previous show, that's Wanted, and 5 articles in the previous show to that, and that's RealityHacker. Then all 3 of them combined turn into an hour and a half plus show called Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition on Saturday, and then 3 different shows on Sunday, and they are WarCrafters, Technology Today, and then 4-Wheel Tech. Anyway, everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so go over there and become a citizen. Thanks, see ya! Oh no, we're not going away. Man, that always makes it sound like we're leaving. We're not leaving. That was the intro.
But I don't think you went down the articles, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, I'll do it right now. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt from the present.
I don't know how present I am. So today we're going to be talking about Andor Season 2, I Am Legend's ending, Escape from New York world building, Gene Hackman movies, and Oscar predictions for 2025. Should I do the intro again?
No, I don't think you need to.
No? All right. Well, you ready to get into this?
I am. Let's go.
So I have not even seen this, but it's over in Technology Today. Disney Plus just dropped an explosive, apparently, trailer for Andor Season 2. It's been well over 2 years, but the wait is almost over. The second season of Andor hits Disney Plus on April 22nd. Ugh, God, it's so far away.
Yeah, that's like forever in TV wait.
It's going to get us pumped. There's a juicy trailer to get us all Star Wars pumped. Footage shows plenty of cool stuff, including the return of Rogue One's chief antagonist, Orson Krennic, and the beloved droid K2SO. The Death Star makes an appearance, which isn't surprising given the ending of the first season. Mon Mothma also attends an extravagant let-them-eat-cake type of party. But the article is by Lawrence Bonk over at Engadget.com.
I'm assuming we're not going to get any spoilers in the trailer.
I'm assuming there's no spoilers. So, yeah, I won't play the trailer. Y'all can go over to Engadget.com and check it out. But it says, for the uninitiated, Andor is a prequel to Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and is set after the rise of the Empire, but before the events of the original Star Wars movie. It says here in the article that it's very good with a tone that can only be described as prestige Star Wars. It stars Diego Luna, Stellan Skarsgård, Kyle Soller, Denise Gow, and sometimes apparently Forrest Whitaker. Season 2 brings new actors into the fold like Adria Arjona. I think that's how they pronounce her last name. Anyway, 12 episodes. 3 episodes premiere on April 22nd, followed by another trio each week for a month.
That's a lot of episodes in a short period of time, and then everybody will be sitting and waiting for the next season.
April's a big month for returning genre TV, as Season 2 of The Last of Us premieres on April 13th, but I don't watch zombie movies. Anyway,
I think you should play a little bit of the trailer.
A little bit?
With mute, of course.
No. It's really quiet anyway. Oh. somebody's firing a blaster in a hallway. Flying around in a TIE fighter.
Interesting.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. So for those that are listening to me just say oh my in the podcast, we're watching some of the trailer. And we're going to stop with an explosion being set off. And that's it. Andor Season 2.
Looks good.
Gonna have to watch it right after the show and then sit there on pins and needles until April 22nd. Ready to keep going?
I am.
It's been a long time waiting for this.
Since Andor? I know. Yeah. I mean, 2 years during... because we had writer's strike and we were still reeling from the pandemic and everything. Exactly.
Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. I Am Legend, what is wrong with the ending and why the Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan sequel is changing that. I Am Legend's theatrical ending has a lot of notable flaws, it says here in the article, which explains why the upcoming sequel starring Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan is building off of a different finale released in 2007 and loosely inspired by the Richard Matheson novel of the same name. I Am Legend focused on Will Smith's U.S. Army virologist Robert Neville smacking the crap out of zombies.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the theme of the movie.
One of the only survivors of a plague that largely wiped out humanity and mutated many of the survivors into Darkseekers, Neville spends much of the time trying to survive his encounters with the creatures while searching for a cure for the virus. So Brandon Zachary over at ScreenRant.com put the article together. It actually ends with a supposed cure and showing a sentience to the Darkseekers. It's weird.
Okay, I think his character is killed off at the end, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this isn't a spoiler. This is too old to have a spoiler alert put on it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's like 2 decades ago.
It's been announced that the long-awaited sequel to I Am Legend will be using the alternate ending as its canon setup. This works for multiple reasons, even beyond the fact that it allows Will Smith to return for the sequel, because he kind of blows himself up in the sequel. Gives the cure to somebody.
The original, yeah.
Yeah. So these Darkseekers actually, what's interesting about the Darkseekers is it basically ends showing that they reproduce and are sentient and care about each other. That there's some humanity there, maybe.
Which, of course, you don't really get throughout the movie. I don't know if you get it in the novel.
You don't get it from this picture. Neville sacrifices himself to ensure the cure is saved. So, in the theatrical ending, the Darkseekers are purely animalistic in their assault on Neville's lab, and that's not quite true. Even in the theatrical ending, it shows them as seemingly trying to get to the spouse, or whatever you want to call the other zombie that's being experimented on by Neville.
I don't think that description is accurate.
Yeah, maybe it's just us. I don't know. So quickly developing the cure for the global virus, Neville ensures it survives by giving it to Anna and Ethan. While they make their escape, he remains behind and sacrifices his life to stop the Darkseekers. The film's final monologue from Anna reveals that the cure worked and that Neville became a legend. I Am Legend. Among the rebuilt human society. This is a departure from the story inspired by I Am Legend, especially how the Darkseekers are portrayed as monsters. The major element of the original story is the discovery of their enduring humanity despite becoming monstrous looking, which the original ending ignores. So they're basically pivoting to a different alternate ending.
Okay, which is going to more closely match the book.
And we've never read the book. And I saw that humanity in the pursuit of the person, the Darkseeker trying to get to the spouse.
Right. So maybe that was still an undercurrent. Like they didn't completely do away with it in the second, or whatever you want to call it, the chosen ending. And
even in the very ending, the theatrical ending, it was there, just not really amplified. and then it was left off. So it's fascinating that they're trying to pivot, but if it sticks, the thing about it is maybe they weren't expecting a sequel.
Well, I mean, were they expecting a sequel anytime soon? Because it's been a long time.
Yeah, and so the kicker here is that they're going back to the original material and rebuilding, and that's always proven to be beneficial. So whoever punched up the old theatrical release really punched it down,
Yeah,
because
but they did it because of the test audiences. It says in the article, the
yeah,
test audiences didn't like the original ending, which is interesting.
because something else in the story was left off. It didn't end with anything. It the way that I see it, based on what we're reading, is it didn't end with the original theatrical ending. Didn't end with them wanting to know more. They wanted closure. They wanted that door slammed shut, and so they did it. But they did a piss poor job of it.
Interesting, yeah.
So they say here, Neville returns her to him and realizes how his experiments on the Dark Seekers have turned him into their terrifying legend. Apparently, this is going to be closer to the book, I guess. In that version, Neville realizes that the Dark Seeker leader is trying to recover his mate. I got that from the final scene, from the ending of that series, that he was looking for his mate, and that there were children. There were actually offspring. This is one of the things that I say about all zombie type of movies is, how are there so many zombies around still pursuing anything?
Exactly. It does not make any sense. Of course, maybe suspend disbelief in this kind of movie.
Because they're not reproducing zombies. They're all just killing each other or just sitting there until they collapse.
Well,
Yeah.
and also the human population in most of these movies seems to be dwindling quickly, which doesn't make a lot of sense with that either.
Yeah. This is, I don't know. It says there's plenty more compelling story to explore in a world where that didn't happen. The ending. There is more world building here, but unless it's in that book, which neither of us have read, then what are they going to be doing? Punching this thing up or down or sideways? I don't know if it's going to work, because
Well, it's kind of like, do people like
the book itself.
the story? Do they like the actors? I mean, I think it's going to do quite well.
Yeah. One might
Plus,
say this.
each of the actors has their own following, so combining them might be a good move too for the studio.
One might say that this next iteration is going to slap.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it might be a legend or something.
No, that one's. So, a setting where the Dark Seeker virus wasn't cured and has continued to impact the planet is an inherently more interesting place to explore than a setting where Neville wiped out the virus. Depends on
I get that, unless there's a second
whatever
issue, emergency, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, there has to be more story. Otherwise, it doesn't matter that the virus exists or not.
Well, so for example, is there a sequel to the book?
Oh, I don't know. Is there? It doesn't say anything in here, right? I don't know.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's go on to the next thing. The next article is over in the Continuity Report. Escape from New York takes place in the same universe as another 1980s sci-fi classic, according to this elaborate theory. Did you find out?
There is a sequel,
Oh.
but I don't know how well it did.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it. So, but this is a zombie movie, and we're not really into zombie movies. It might, I don't know. Well, maybe we'll watch it. So, I'm a big fan of Escape from New York. I really like it. There's a sequel to it, but meh. Escape from New York is one of John Carpenter's most underrated films, taking place in a dystopian future where sections of New York City have been sectioned. It's not sections of Manhattan. The island of Manhattan has been turned into a prison. It's been walled off and turned into a prison.
Oh, okay.
So it's not sections of New York, but anyway, maybe in the book it's different and more sectioned. But anyway, sectioned off and being used as a live-in prison for America's most dangerous criminals. As Carpenter's unforgettable protagonist, Snake Snake Plissken, journeys through the grimy streets of the futuristic New York. The film begins to speak on issues such as gang violence and the homelessness crisis of the 1980s America, which has never really gone away, but we just don't look anymore. Jack Walters over at ScreenRant.com, and probably going to be looking less. Jack Walters over at ScreenRant.com put the article together. Carpenter's dystopian future looks familiar to Biff's dark timeline. So,
oh my goodness, that's interesting.
Yeah, quite fascinating. However, many fans of the film have noticed that Carpenter's dark vision of the future is surprisingly familiar to some of the movies of the same era. There isn't too much backstory given in Escape from New York to explain how society reached this cataclysmic state, which leaves plenty of room for interpretation. While the Escape from New York trilogy was never completed, there are enough hints in the first movie alone to draw interesting comparisons to another sci-fi classic from the 80s. And that is Back to the Future Part 2. Biff's actions cause reality to branch off into a new timeline.
Okay, this is interesting. I did not look ahead at this article, so I wasn't sure what was going to intersect.
Okay, what is the timeline? What is the year of Willy Wonka, by the way?
You may find out.
Mid to late 1930s. Yeah.
The book takes place in the 20s, but...
Yeah. So by the time Snowpiercer comes around, maybe it transitions through this. Anyway, I'm trying to make a giant world, a cinematic universe where everything is...
Right, connect all of them.
Connected, yeah. So this theory supposes that Biff used his newfound power to influence the president and escalate the Cold War to a point of no return, leading to the dystopian wasteland of Escape from New York. This seemingly makes sense given how neatly Biff's dark timeline lines up with the social conflicts explored in John Carpenter's movie, increased crime rates, and escalation of U.S.-Soviet tensions, and Nixon's presidency exceeding the 2-term limit. These are very specific ideas that are explored in both films, so it's possible they unofficially are connected.
Okay, that's kind of interesting.
Wow. Which means Dark Tower, right? Isn't all of... no, wait. That's not John Carpenter. Stephen King is Dark Tower and all of that.
Oh, that would be interesting to then connect that, because that has its own...
Its entire... own world, yeah. Omniverse. Yeah. So I wonder if there's another theory that ties John Carpenter stuff into...
I don't know. We'll have to be on the lookout for it in ohmTown.
Yep. So the problems with Escape from New York taking place in Back to the Future universe, it's more likely that the similarities are a coincidence, but why? Coincidence is just, somebody, just because it exists in the same timeline, but it exists in the same timeline then. Back to the Future Part 2 doesn't seem to mention the major earthquake that destroyed much of New York City in Carpenter's movie, nor does it explain what caused the devastation of Los Angeles in Escape from LA. That's the sequel. It seems unlikely that Biff's actions would have been enough to divert Earth's history so drastically from our real-life timeline, as these earthquakes are seemingly triggered by tectonic movements that Biff would have no control over. But
I'm not so sure about that.
Right. This is just a small town. How many
exactly
times...
what else occurred, right? And what got set in motion and...
Yeah. So hold on. I'm really curious about this. Hill Valley, California. So the town also featured in a dystopian alternate 1985. So I see no reason why it couldn't.
Exactly.
If you follow what temporology suggests, every possible outcome is a fractioned reality, a fractioned timeline.
Right, and every single action can set a different path in place.
Yeah, so in the path where Biff and New York collide, or Escape from New York and Escape from LA collide, it could be that that timeline is immutable. If Biff does what he does, you end up with earthquakes, but the earthquakes are a coincidence, not the dystopian future.
Right, exactly.
Haha, so we can actually bound it back in together. So it's more likely that Escape from New York's excellent aesthetics merely inspired Zemeckis' vision of a dystopian future in Back to the Future Part 2, rather than the two projects actually being canonically linked. Not with that attitude. I am going to liken that they are in the same universe.
I say they are.
Hill Valley is just a tiny little speck. And then when the earthquakes come, it goes dystopian, and Biff makes the maneuvers that lead to it being
right. Yeah, he doesn't have to cause the earthquake for them to be linked.
Yeah, they just are. All right, let's keep going. If you hadn't heard, well, Gene Hackman died. They're investigating still. I don't know exactly what the outcome is, but anyway, passed away on Thursday, February 27th. And this article, he was 95. I didn't know that. But anyway, here are 8 Gene Hackman movies. Well, I think that's
because he's an actor and everybody sees him at a certain point in time in the movies.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Nothing since, right? Like at some point he stopped being in movies, or when he is in movies, they do makeup. So he might be most known for the hard-boiled detective persona he honed in the early 1970s, but it's actually Hackman's lighter roles that are more casual moviegoers will remember him for. Bonnie and Clyde from 1967. I Never Sang for My Father in 1970. Haven't seen those two so far. The French Connection, 1971. Saw that. The Conversation, 1974. I have not seen that. Superman, saw that. 1978. I didn't know
he was in Superman.
Yep. He plays Lex Luthor. Hackman was called to play the villain in what became the first superhero blockbuster, Mad Scientist Lex Luthor. It's a fun watch. Mississippi Burning, 1988. Number 7 is Unforgiven, 1992. Still, there was time for Hackman to pick up a second Oscar for the early 1990s for playing the villainous sheriff Little Bill in Clint Eastwood's landmark western Unforgiven. The movie signaled the revival of the western genre for more modern audiences after it had gone into some terminal decline during the 1960s.
I'm guessing after the John Wayne era, there was not much being done with it.
Yeah, it lost its romanticism, I suspect, but modern westerns are actually really good watches. And then finally, The Royal Tenenbaums, 2001. As Gene Hackman roles go, the actor's turn as the unruly patriarch of the Wes Anderson movie sounds like it should have been a complete mismatch, which explains why Hackman originally rejected The Royal Tenenbaums. Yet it's arguably the part that best encapsulates his entire career, melding the trademark tough guy of his crime films with his magnetic screen presence, knack for deadpan humor, and sensitive portrayals of family strife. But I think we know him best from
Crimson Tide, I would say. You were going to say something else.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm trying to think. There's something else
there was
similar.
What wasn't he in a Will Smith movie? He pretended to be a cop, person of interest.
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't it? What was the movie?
Oh, I know where we know him from. Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State. That's it.
Yes, that's right. But also Crimson Tide, I would say. I think both of those, I think, are really good watches.
Yeah, I think those two are the ones that I would like to see again. Could watch Royal Tenenbaums. I don't remember it. I think I've seen it, but I don't really remember it. But they're saying it's the number 8 on this list. I don't know if it's in any particular order.
No, I think this is just a compilation.
A rundown. And I'm surprised that they didn't actually play that. Enemy of the State.
Yeah. I saw actually I mean, there's obviously been a lot of articles on Gene Hackman recently,
Hmm.
and it was listed in some other articles capturing highlights from his career.
Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of them say the same kind of a thing, particularly Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know. That's from 1967. Crimson Tide, though, right?
Yeah, I think that's a well-known one. I mean, in more modern times.
All right, let's do our last article for the March 1st continuity report. It's over in the continuity report, 2025 Oscar predictions and preview who will win 97th Academy Awards. It's
Right,
right
which
around
is
the
going to be held tomorrow.
right around the corner. The article's over at comingsoon.net. Brandon Schreier or Shearer. I don't know. Anyway, they're going to be hosted by Conan O'Brien, held on Sunday, March 2nd. It's a fascinating year because there doesn't seem to be any single Oscars frontrunner. A couple of easily predictable wins, maybe, but the Carla Sofia Gascon controversy kind of tanked Emilia Perez's chances. It's pretty much anyone's game, apparently. So, who's winning Best Picture at the 2025 Oscars? Ariana Grande going to snag Best Supporting Actress? Who are they going to forget to include in the memoriam? We have some predictions. So, they say Best Picture is going to go to Anora, but The Brutalist, The Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, Wicked are on the list. Anora? Best Actress is going to go to Demi Moore in The Substance. Really? Best Actor,
Yeah, I don't
Adrian
know.
Brody in The Brutalist. The Brutalist, I think, is supposedly going to be Best Picture, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Best Supporting Actress, Zoe Saldana and Emilia Perez.
Well, I think is
Yeah.
that as Amelia Perez or like in
Yes.
Amelia Perez?
In Emilia Perez. Yeah. Saldana was definitely a lock for the Best Supporting Actress before all the Carla Sofia Gascon controversy happened. No idea. Best Supporting Actor, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain. Best Director, Brady
I'm
Corbett from The
noticing a little
Brutalist.
bit of a theme here with The Brutalist.
Yeah, and A Real Pain, Best Original Screenplay. Conclave, I've been told as well, is supposed to be really good. Haven't seen it yet, though. Best Cinematography, The Brutalist. So there's The Brutalist again. Best Original Score, The Brutalist. Best Original Song, they say again, why Awards bodies even bothered to give Emilia Perez so many nominations in the first place is beyond me. I don't think the song El Mal is particularly good either, but it's been winning in pretty much every other award show, so it'll probably win here too. But
Yeah, they don't have it highlighted, but I think that was meant to be or bolded.
yeah. Best Editing, Anora. Best Production Design, Wicked. These are kind of fun. I don't know. Best Costume Design, Wicked, but I think the costuming in Wicked seems pretty sedate compared to what could be
Yeah, I'm
done.
thinking like something like a Nosferatu. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe Gladiator 2. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like any of the. Well, Nosferatu would probably be like above and beyond.
At least for like the makeup and everything,
Yeah.
if not the costuming.
Yeah, I don't know. The stuff that I've seen from Wicked didn't seem all that particularly amazing. Best makeup, Wicked. I don't know. One person's green. A Complete Unknown for best sound, best visuals.
I'm sure that took
Dune
hours to make that green.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Best visual effects, Dune Part 2. I wouldn't be surprised. Best international feature, Emilia Perez. Best animated feature, Flow. Haven't even seen it. Yikes. Best live action short, Anuja. Best animated short film, Wander to Wonder. Best documentary film, No Other Land. Best documentary short film, I Am Ready, Warden.
So you've heard all these predictions here. It'll be interesting to see how many of these pan out.
If you want to see the discussion about all of this, go over to comingsoon.net and check it all out. It was put together by Brandon Schreier. But that's it. We made it under 30 minutes. Woohoo! So we're going to smack the clapboard, and that's going to bring us back to the Continuity Reports front page over at ohmtown.com. Go over and check it out. Become a citizen, sign up or sign in, and be sure to follow us over on YouTube and Twitch. Leave a comment, follow us, download the podcast, leave a 5-star review and a comment there, and I will quote it, and you'll live on in infamy. More than famous, you'll be infamous. Anyway, I'm Mayor Watt, and I'm getting out of here, and I'm taking the AI with me.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for the Continuity Report for this week. Stay tuned tomorrow for some more weekly episodes. We have WarCrafters, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech.
See you soon. No, you can't jazz hands. Bye-bye YouTube, and bye-bye Twitch.